All right, welcome back to the Rise Personal Training Podcast. I'm Coach Wyatt here with Coach Chris.
What's up, everyone?
And today we're diving into mindset.
Yeah.
So specifically, we're going to be talking about motivation and why it's overrated and what you should be focusing on instead.
Correct.
So I think, it's still important to get out there. Motivation's a strong tool. Okay, it's kind of what starts most people's fitness journey. It's that initial driving factor. People feel really motivated and they just run with that. That gets them into the gym. The problem with motivation is it's not on the same timeline for everyone. Some people can be motivated for months. Some people are motivated for a few weeks, So that's not something we can kind of hope runs for a long time for most people. At some point it's going to run dry. And it's really like, what other things have we set up so that we can, still be showing up to the gym, still kind of want to be showing up to the gym, even though we just have no energy for it.
Right.
And so motivation have really high highs and really low lows.
Yeah.
And, it depends on so many factors. You can wake up one day, everything, you had good sleep, the day before wasn't stressful, you feel great, you're motivated. And then you wake up the next day and you feel like the world is just crashing and burning.
Yeah, you hit a wall.
Exactly. And so, even us coaches, we're not motivated all the time.
Right.
And so it's just sort of, we'll talk about what we kind of focus on that, keeps us going. And I'm sure you guys have heard the people that are like, oh, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. Nothing works for me. And it's like, typically, if you look at what they've been through, they go through this cycle. They feel motivated. They see this new trend, these new workouts, motivated. They start doing that. Then they lose motivation.
Yeah.
Then they stop. Then they feel guilty they stopped. And then they see something new and then they feel motivated again.
Right.
So they're trying all this stuff. They're like, nothing works for me. It's like, well, no, you just, you haven't focused on these other things yet.
Right.
And so, really people try to run with this all or nothing mentality. And like, I'm motivated. We got to go hard. Everything's got to be perfect. And I'll just say that, the all or nothing mentality typically leads to nothing for most people.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And so, what's the solution here? What are we looking for here?
I mean, the basic solution is probably just going to be structure and consistency. Being consistent every week, every day, whatever. No matter what, most people can sacrifice, or they have an allowance of 2 to 3 hours per week where they can kind of train, get moving, do some sort of movement that helps them like stay consistent.
Right.
And we try to have everyone kind of sign up on a recurring schedule. Then that way we can keep you guys coming in on a consistent basis. And it's not, oh, I'm just going to schedule it whenever I can, or, oh, I might schedule it on Monday, might schedule it on Wednesday. And then usually those people that do that, they haven't scheduled them. And all of a sudden I'm sending them a message saying, hey, we haven't seen you in a week, a couple of weeks. You don't have anything scheduled. When are you in next?
I know there's a lot of gyms out there that just sign people up. They're like, and just book yourself, get in when you can.
Yeah.
The problem is there's a pretty big mental debate that goes on with everyone every single day. You wake up and it's just like, you're like, man, should I go to the gym today? But it's one of those, we like setting you up again on the recurring schedule, because when we get that set, you wake up, you're like, I have to go to I have my session today.
Right. I mean, even with the people on recurring schedules, because we see it in the mornings all the time. There are people that come in at the 6 a.m. They're like, I almost didn't come in today. And I'm like, well, you did.
Right.
So that's a huge win. Like, congrats. We're proud of you.
And I guarantee you, if they were not on that recurring schedule, they would have woken up and been like, I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
And so there's that consistency you need. You got the time, 2 to 3 hours. Think about how many hours a week you have. You got time to get in. And so when you have this set schedule going, it's tackling part of the problem there. That mental debate you don't have to focus so hard on. And, it's also covering the other main thing here, which is forming a habit.
Right.
You need a habit of the gym if you're really trying to create a lifestyle change. What's that saying?
I think it goes something like, it takes 21 days to form a habit, and it takes like 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle.
Right. So when you look at the timeline, it's like the first 21 days where we're trying to form a habit, sure, motivation could help.
Right.
It gets you in, you're pushing and everything, but majority of people are not going to have the motivation 90 days.
Correct.
In,
Yeah.
And so that's really where when we are working on this structure, this consistency, you've got through that beginning, you form the habit, you know, you just keep it pushing, keep going through, keep showing up, you know, and then before you know it, once you hit that 90-day mark or beyond, it's kind of just, you know, it's a part of your life now. You know, it's you're just like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I got to go to the gym.
And you don't even think about it at that point. You're just here, you're working out, you're doing the thing, and then it doesn't feel like it's a burden at all.
Or something comes up and you're like, oh, they're like, oh, let's do this on Monday. You're like, oh wait, I got my session on that. You know, like we got to do Tuesday. So it's more so it is an important part of your schedule that things are now planned around. They're not really taken up.
Right.
And so we can kind of get into the structure aspect now, you know, so we're tackling consistency. We're trying to deal with the mental debate there. When it comes to the structure, it's really that we need to set up some sort of accountability and some sort of planning aspect, right? So, you know, when you are showing up to the gym, you're showing up to your sessions. One, when you sign up for a gym, you now are being held accountable. So people are expecting you, not just the coaches.
It's the other people in the session with you.
If you take our semi-private setup, it's like, again, like the 6 a.m. crew's the 6 a.m. crew. You know, they'll notice when someone's not showing up for a while, and you'll notice when someone's not showing up. So again, it's that little thing that pushes you a little more.
Yeah, and then also the results. Like you'll see as long as you keep coming in, you start seeing results little by little, and then it keeps you accountable. It keeps you going. You don't want to stop. You don't want to lose it all. You want to keep showing up day to day.
It's like it's how it kind of tricks you, where you're like, oh, I'm losing motivation here. You're like, oh, but I got results. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I got to keep showing up then because then I can't lose. You know, so you know, like firstly, it's for me. You know, I was training here for a while. Then you know, I stopped training. I had another job for a little bit, which was a normal desk job. And let me tell you, it was the motivation was not there. Correct. You know, and so I totally understand. But it was I set my days Monday, Wednesday, Friday typically to train. When I started this job, I was like, I'm toast. I'm like dead. I don't want to work out at all. So what I did was I had removed Wednesday. So I'm like, look, I at least got to just do something in the gym Monday, Friday. And then when I start to level out, then maybe I'll add that day in there. And so it was just I knew I needed to keep training no matter how I felt because I would be in a way worse mental state down the road a few months if I were to just stop and be like, oh, where'd my muscle go? You know, so I at least just held on. You know, I kept doing that, and then before I knew it, schedule opened up a little more. We started working and all that stuff. So then I was like, oh, I can put that Wednesday back in, and it's like I still had my set days. You know, I at least was able to keep that habit, which prevented me from losing all of my muscle. Right.
Yeah, and the next bit of structure is planning. Obviously here in the gym, like we have a set routine or set schedule kind of workout program for you to follow. And you don't really have to worry about either creating that program each day you go in. You don't have to think, oh, what am I going to have to think about doing or making up today? You just show up, you do the workout that we have planned for you. Provided you don't have any injuries, we don't make a ton of changes unless you're doing real well. Then we make things a little bit harder.
Exactly.
But other than that, there's that plan is already set for you. You don't have to worry about that. So it's another
removes the stress.
Right.
It removes another stressor that you don't. All you gotta do is show up.
Yep.
You know. So again, we're trying to kind of tackle a lot of these barriers, and it's like the easier, or if there's a nicer ease of access to everything, then it makes it a lot easier for you to just get going rather than you're not motivated. You got to go to the gym. You got to figure out what routine you do. The gym's packed. You can't do the machine you want to do. And then you're just like, I'm just going to do cardio and go home. Right. You know? So again, the more we can slowly remove those little bits that, they don't seem like a lot, but in terms of getting your workout in, they weigh pretty heavy on kind of what you're thinking about. The easier it is to stick to your routine and then go about that. And so just, you can't wait to be motivated. Right. Because like I said earlier, one day you're ready to rule the world. And then the next day you're like, I
want to curl up in a ball.
Exactly. I can't roll out of bed.
Sit in a corner.
Yeah. Nothing's happening. So if, it's that if you don't act on it, it's not going to happen. Right. And then once you do act on it, it's going to tank pretty quickly. Correct. So we need to put those other things in place at the time. And then, you can get into this positive sort of like feedback loop here by just understand everyone that trains here, 100% has that thought of, man, I should have done this sooner. Why didn't I just do this sooner? I feel great. I just, I could have done this a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so the sooner you start, you'll start to see this confidence start to build. And then, at some point that it might turn into a little bit of motivation, but it's building this confidence.
Right.
And this confidence that is, paired with, there's the structure, there's the accountability, there's the consistency, all these, good things that are just rolling to allow you to reach that point where you just, again, you're not thinking about it, you're just training. Each week you got your days, you're showing up. And, if you don't have motivation to start, okay, it doesn't mean you need more discipline, you need more willpower, you need a tougher mindset.
Yeah.
It just means you need structure,
Support.
yeah. and a program that's tailored, just for you.
Yeah. So that you're not worrying about anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just remember, it's like motivation, or while motivation may get you started, it's going to be structure and consistency that keep you going.
Yep.
All right. That's all we got today. We'll catch you guys next week.
Sounds
Later.
good. Later.